Welcome into 11 Personnel live on the KSR YouTube channel, presented by Monticello Bank. They've been supporting Kentucky since 1895. They're ready to kick off the new Will Stein era, and that's why we're going to be at Monticello Bank on Wednesday in the Beaumont Center at noon. Come hang out with us at Monticello Bank. They've got locations everywhere. That one's going to be a great one. We're going to be talking ball, getting you ready for the Kentucky football season. That's Wednesday, August 19th at noon at Monticello Bank in Lexington at the Beaumont Center. Come see what Monticello Bank has to offer. If you can't make it out to that location or any of the other locations, there's plenty online at nbcbank.com. Adam Luckett, we had a scrimmage on Saturday, and it's a great way to set the tone for what's to come because, we might be starting off this new era of daily Kentucky football podcast a little banged up on the injury report.
Do you want to address the elephant in the room at all?
We got a little something. It's feeling.
What did the other guy look like? That's my first question.
Oh man, rough, real rough. Let me tell you about it. Man, I there was a couple different ways that I wanted to go about this. Where I could just make up some story. I was at shout out, got this hat at the DeSales Golf Scramble, played our best ever round. Your boy hit a long putt in the day, had a couple long drives, 14 under for the group. We were on fire, quite literally on fire. I could have said I got hit in the head with a golf ball. That would be a very oh wow, that's kind of a cool story, a cool war scar, right?
Yeah, Titleist to the face.
It was very warm, and I have a couple pops while I'm out there, but it's very hot. I'm drinking lots of water. I did the vet move. I stuck a towel in the cooler.
What were these cut waters?
I didn't know, just real water, and I put the towel over the head, throw it over the neck. So it was hot, it was miserable. Everybody who was outside that weekend knew it. But I felt fine afterwards. We ate, we came home, got a little of the liquid IV stuff, some electrolytes. The wife put me to work a little bit, but it was good. I felt fine. We went to the local Mexican joint afterwards and had some chips and queso. I know that's your specialty. When has chips and queso ever steered you wrong?
Never, ever, ever, ever.
Especially with a couple.
There's a first for everything. I feel like coming here.
Frozen margaritas, because the cold mixes well with the hot, and maybe I had too much cold mixed with the hot. And after a couple, we're sitting there. No children, by the way. Kids are gone all weekend. But I eat my food. We're kind of winding down. Probably going to leave soon, but we got a drink to finish. And wife looks at me. And she's like, "You don't look too hot." And I made some joke. I don't remember what the joke was, but I said, I don't. I just say, I'll walk it off. Here's the thing. Let this be a lesson. If you ever are feeling lightheaded, don't try to walk it off. Walking it off, that's the last thing you want to do, or you'll find yourself on the floor. That's what happened to me. I found myself on the floor, but I was fine. I was like, oh, okay, well, we got this out of the way. Feeling a little better now. I got something to drink. But, I didn't need to go to the bathroom. I'll try walking it off now. And then I'll be good to go. We'll just walk it off. Bathroom with hard towel. Not a good place to walk it off either.
I would say no.
Almost successfully walked it all the way out of the bathroom. Not quite. I came to with my wife looking at me in the face saying, "Nick, can you see me?"
You laugh.
It's never a good sign when she's saying that. I'm good. I'm okay. I'm fine. You need stitches. I'm like, no. You sure butterflies can't do it? Nick, you need stitches. So shout out to Dr. Bobby, Dr. Justine. We had the NOAA guy discount. Went and got stitched up just on the counter outside of his office down at U of L. Got 3 way down in there, and then 7 more on top. So we had multiple layers of stitches. Got a little bruising going on.
You look good. You can hardly tell. You can't even tell.
Hey, the scar is going to go along with the eyebrow. So, hey, everybody's playing hurt through training camp. We're not injured. We're just hurt. So
you literally hit the wall.
You hit the proverbial training camp wall. So yeah, we're battling, but nothing's going to stop us from podcasting 5 days a week now, 6 o'clock on the KSR YouTube channel. We're not always going to be going live at 6 p.m. A lot of times they'll be pre-recorded, but you're going to get us every day, 6 p.m. on the KSR YouTube channel. This episode, like many of them, is probably going to be like a 30-minute snapshot. We'll give you a longer dose of Kentucky football on Wednesday. But the good news is fall camp did give us plenty to talk about on Saturday. That's going to be our focus of today's show. And look at Will Stein, not happy with his first performance from the team. The heat got to me. It sounds like the heat got to Kentucky and led to some sloppy play on Saturday, particularly by the offense. Jay Bateman doesn't normally look like the happiest of campers, but, man, he was smiling like a golden retriever after the scrimmage, whereas, it looked like Will Stein's dog just got kicked in the gut. Not a great day for the offense.
Yeah, you said the Heat won. Well, Jay Bateman loves the Heat. That was one of the first things he said. Love it when it's hot. He was excited. That was probably the most excited I've seen him. We've only been covering him for a little bit here.
Right.
But that was the most dejected I think I've seen, or frustrated or irritated, whatever word you want to use. I've seen Stein. He was really upset with his football team. Kind of went back to the beginning of how they approached the day when they got out to the stadium. But judging from Bateman's comments, Nick, it sounded like the defense really settled in, and he really liked how they played. Where offensively, I think it was a long day for them. I think they had plenty of issues that they had to get corrected. Justin Burke today, talked about
finishing.
Play faster.
Yeah.
Play faster. So to me, you wonder, were they just thinking too much?
Well, there's that aspect of it. There's the heat. I know Stein referred to them not getting out of the huddle. And you don't want to use the heat as an excuse. And I like that they actually went in the heat of the day because the month of September, that's all going to be in the heat of the day. So, the time to get your bad reps out of the way are now. It's why you go to the driving range, right, Luckett? You don't want to just walk up to the tee box and start slicing away. You got to get in your shots. They got in their shots, and I think a lot of it was the way it was described. It sounded like they just got really bogged down and couldn't get out of their own way, from making the calls in the huddle to making the right calls at the line of scrimmage. There was some mention of some procedural stuff as well. This felt like the bad scrimmage, Luckett.
There's always one, yeah.
There's always one. I went back and I found some quotes from Stoops over the years. The 18 one, he was doing everything short of dog cussing that team, and they turned out to be pretty good. So it's not like this is an indicator of future performance. It's obviously you'd like to hear them be better, Luckett, but I'm not going to sweat it too much, particularly when defenses are usually further ahead. This is 9 days into practice. This defense is returning a lot of players. This offense is completely rebuilt. And, you expect fall camp to be somewhat of a roller coaster.
Yeah.
This was their first, I think, real moment of, all right, we hit adversity. Now we got to kick our guys' asses and get them to push their way through this wall without getting stitches.
Stay out of the stitch room. But to me, Nick, like we've heard Stein talk, right, and everything is all going to be built through the quarterback. Yeah, that's where my mind went. Like not get urgency in the huddle. Like who runs the huddle? The quarterback runs the huddle. So that's what I wonder. Like just what was because even what was the quarterback stuff? Because Joe Sloan said they ran the ball well.
Yeah,
with the line, and there were some, I think,
procedural
with the line
without their top three running backs, because Jason Patterson was also shelved for snap count.
Right. It was like basically it sounded like Martellus Carter was probably at first, and then it was Amir Smith, a junior college transfer. That was probably the two with the one. So yeah, and then we know Nick Anderson is out. Tegra Shabola's recovering from his little procedure he had before fall camp started. So Yeah, they've got some guys out. And defense, right. I think you make a good point. Like, and I want people to realize this. Like, Ty Bryant,
Teron Nichols, Humphrey Grace,
Grant Godfrey, Humphrey Grace, Tavian Gatson. Those are 5 inherited players. I think those are 5 draft picks. And then Aaron Gates and Jordan Castell have played for Jay Bateman before.
Correct. It's a lot of people who know what they're doing.
Yes, where offensively it's just totally everything's new. The only all the coaches have really worked together outside of Sloan and Nate Dotson, the quarterback coach, have worked together. But then Joe Price, Justin Burke, Will Stein, and Cutter Leftwich all were on a UTSA staff together, so they've all worked together. So it's that's they all have stability and kind of cohesion. But all these pieces on offense are all.
Yeah,
they're all new. So there's some growing pains, I think, going through. And then you add the injuries on top of it, right? With the running backs, Nick Anderson, Shabola, all of that. So, yeah.
And
it shouldn't be a surprise, right, that the defense won the scrimmage. That's kind of where I come from.
And in my mind, too, it's not just the lack of playing together, but just general inexperience where Jacaden Ferguson redshirted last year at Arkansas. Kenny Darby's having to play a lot. Brock Kaufman only spent a year at U of L. DJ Miller played half the season last year. You have a wide receiver unit. I mean, Shane Carr was at the FCS level playing for a team that had a 2,000-yard rusher. I don't know how much they were throwing the ball, right? So there's a lot of inexperience, generally speaking, and it sounded like just the passing game in general suffered. Kenny Minchie probably has one fall camp where he got legit run with the ones, and how much did he even get with the run with the ones last year at Notre Dame? So, there's going to be some early fall camp struggles. I'm not going to read too much into it. You just hope that this is sort of okay, bump in the road. Let's move forward. Let's push through. Let's figure things out. So I'm not sweating it as of yet. I might if we get another disheveled Stein on Saturday. Particularly because I think he's well aware of how this goes too, and he just wanted more energy, more just sort of.
I think that was probably the bigger deal, but it also hearing Bateman made me think that it might have been it, but I think a lot of it was. I think the defense just got after the offense. I mean, that's what it sounded like to me.
Yeah,
and hearing from people that were at the scrimmage, it was. The offense had some issues, but then again, they had a lot of guys out.
Yeah. So here's before we get into some other news of the day, Luckett, that was significant. With the offensive guys being out, how does is there an alarm bell for this fall that maybe this is a pickle they run into, particularly when you realize that, all right, there's a lot of winnable games in November. What if they don't get to November healthy?
Your cousin had a quote that I thought was really good last year. I can't remember, but the gist of it was there's players on your team that we have to keep healthy for us to be successful.
Yeah.
So
Isaac Brown's one of them for them.
Right. Isaac Brown, Chris Bell,
there
was Colin Lacey.
Yeah.
They had, and then probably a couple guys on defense as well that got banged up. Where you got to kind of look at it that way. Football is the ultimate team sport, but there's obviously some players that are more important than others. So I think it's individual per player kind of circumstance. I think how they're handling CJ Baxter makes a lot of sense.
Correct. Yeah.
He's their clear top running back. It sounds like he could play right now, but they're just kind of being cautious with him.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel good about that. And he wasn't he played most of the season last year. He dealt with a hamstring injury at times, but he played most of it. So he's, he played in their Texas A&M was on SEC Network last night. I watched it. CJ Baxter was in the game. I was like, oh, that's right. He did play. At a certain point last year or at the end of the year. So, it sounds like he went through most of the spring. They've just been cautious with him. Nick Anderson, it's harder to get a read on. I think he's been out there. I think he was out there some in the spring. I think he's been out there some now, but they're being careful with him. But he hasn't played as right? He didn't play. I mean, he played some last year. He got hurt in November. He's like Joe Price called him a Ferrari today, which was interesting. Interesting phrasing there. I don't think I don't think the Kentucky wide receiver coach is familiar with another media day comment, so I don't want to go there. but I think his messaging on that was just like this guy's played a lot of football. He's old. We just got to. He works hard. We've talked about how he's kind of seems like he's merging kind of as a leader for them. Like you just got to get him to the season healthy. Now there's some others I'm worried about, like Javonte Barnes. Has he been healthy since he got on campus? Yeah. Like, and right now, like them holding Patterson out to me, that was like, well, he's probably RB2. Like they're probably preparing that he's going to be RB2 when that season opens, would be my guess right now. So you've got to have some caution with him. I don't worry about Patterson being available. And then you've got other players who have dealt with, issues before that they're probably trying to keep healthy. Like maybe some of Willie or DJ, like DJ Miller, you got to be careful with some of these key. Lance Hurd, I think you're going to have to be careful with some of these key guys here. So, I think you just got to be. This was the gamble they made too, Nick. Like at the end of the day, they took some guys with injury histories, so you have to be willing as an organization to deal with that, right? And what that means is like if a guy's got to sit and not play, you're just going to have to do it, even if it hurts you probably early in the season because they're not getting the reps probably that they need to get ramped up. But it's just what you got to do, and I think that's kind of where Kentucky is. Like you don't love that Nick Anderson's not out there, or at least it seems like he's not out there every day really throwing, but. Maybe they got enough in the spring and summer where they feel good about it. I don't know, but that's it's something that'll be easier to judge, I think, once we get into November and the season plays out, because that is a huge storyline with this team to me. Is just that did this gamble they made in the portal essentially, where they took these
banged up
guys
players,
with injury history, notable injury history. Did they win on more of those than they lost on them? And that's ultimately might be what determines their season, to be honest.
Next man up only gets you so far at so many spots. It's a great thing to say, but it's the old we don't practice for.
And just be honest, like they totally flipped this roster. It's the second year in a row where they've had this huge roster flip at Kentucky. Different coaches, but like when you have stuff like that, we're in an era where depth is hard to build anyway. It's just hard. It's just going to be hard to build depth when you're turning over. They've got, I think, 40-something new players this year, Nick, and then I think they have 64 this year, I think is the number, and they had 50-something last year. You're just like, that's a lot of turnover,
right?
When it's hard to build depth that way.
And that's certainly going to be tested with the rigors of the 9-game SEC schedule. The AP Top 25 poll came out today. 7 opponents on the Kentucky schedule cracked that top 25, including Louisville. So 6 SEC teams plus Louisville in that AP poll. Well, I want to get to some more from the scrimmage and some news of the day. But first, I do need to remind you that saving energy can be good for your home and also for your wallet. And with the rebates from LG and EKU, upgrading to qualifying energy-efficient equipment can pay off even more. You may be eligible for rebates ranging up to $250 to $1,600 on equipment. So whether your central air goes out, you're going to get a new natural gas furnace before it gets cold. I can't really think about the cold, the cold right now. But if you need to upgrade that furnace before it starts, see what kind of rebates you can get through LG&E and KU. Visit LGE-KU.com/cashback. That's LGE.com/LGE-KU.com/cashback. Upgrade your home, save energy, and get rewarded with LG&E and KU. All right, we had Wesley Woodyard. He was back at practice. He got to watch the Wildcats in action. Bordeaux, which doesn't sound like a very Kentucky name, but the gamer who's from the Commonwealth, he hung out at the facility, played against Will Stein, who Will Stein said he got him for a half. Got Bordeaux on the ropes. And Grant Godfrey also played against him, so I'm sure that's going to be on Bordeaux's YouTube channel. He's a big KSR fan, so shout out to Bordeaux. You can check out his stuff there after you subscribe to our channel, of course. But while we're at Grant Godfrey, I do think that I'm going to get this show. You're going to get credit for getting one prediction correct, and I'm going to get credit for another prediction. This is your time to shine with your Grant Godfrey prediction. That people were sleeping on his production towards the end of the year. People forget that he was a blue chip prospect, and he really put on some good weight. And Bateman, essentially, I mean, he's going to give him the green dot on the helmet and let him call the defense, which I think is a little bit. It's not probably what we were projecting when this spring started, but Luckett, you were ahead of the curve on this issue.
Yeah, you go back to Godfrey's recruitment, Nick. Like that was a nice recruiting win for Kentucky. Pedigree. His dad was, I believe, an all-SEC player at Georgia.
Yeah, brother played basketball at Georgia.
His brother played basketball at Georgia, and Clemson had a really good year at Clemson, just transferred to Arizona. He's in that 5-for-5 fight.
Oh, there we go.
So, like, he's a good high-level college basketball player. So the pedigree is there, athleticism, size. He checks the trait boxes. It took, there was some development with him, but I think it's finally starting to hit. He was, again, another player, Nick, that got the Jamin Davis comps when they got him. Like Brad White is quoted talking about how he's got some Jamin Davis in him. And that's the kind of timeline we're seeing, right? He's kind of filled out this frame. He always had these athletic traits, and now he's kind of learning how to play in the box linebacker. The instincts have caught up. The intangibles have caught up. And now I think he's poised to have a really big season for Kentucky in the middle of the defense.
Now, as for my turn to pat myself on the back, I know you were on the Matt Ponatoski train, Mr. Luckett, but Canada, bring your maple syrup because it seems like Cal Wither has sort of taken command of that QB2 room, Luckett, mostly because this guy's just played more football, right? I know it was a little bit different across our northern border, but when we saw him out there at practice, he just looked comfortable back there. And when your guy look at, I know Jake Browning is probably not the best comp because he's a gunslinger, but like Blaine Gabbert was in the NFL for like 13 years because when your starter
Chase Daniel, SEC Network's Chase Daniel. There you go.
Yeah. When your starter gets hurt, you just want somebody with a high floor that's not going to cost you a game, right? You just go in and don't mess it up for us. Make a couple of throws, just be a steady Eddie. Let's run the football. Let's operate the offense. And Cal Wither has done this more so than any of the other guys. And so right now he's sort of I don't think it's his for the taking, but it feels like he's in that position to be quarterback too right now.
Yeah, I think he's the favorite. Is what it sounds like leaving the first scrimmage. And honestly, like if you take a kid like that, like it felt like it felt like one of the newcomers was going to be the backup, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like the primary backup.
Yeah.
I don't think you do that unless if you felt good about who the primary backup was going to be leaving
spring practice. Yeah.
So It feels like Wither, he's going to be he's the backup quarterback right now. But I would say Ponatoski just like, we'll see how the season goes, right? Hopefully it doesn't get to a point where.
I mean, he's only been here for 2 weeks, so like we can't be making too grandiose takes about the QB2 sort of matchup. You shouldn't. But Wither was one of the late roster additions, and Luckett, he wasn't the latest though, because at Meet the Team Day on Saturday, Alex Afari was signing autographs. We got a surprising good news, bad news. Good news, you added Alex Afari. Bad news, you lost Antonio O'Berry. Luckett, when you were sitting in the Kroger Field media room, what was going through your mind when Stein just started off the press conference right off the jump and dropped that news nugget on you?
I mean, that was the most unexpected moment for me in that room since the Mitch Barnhart Stoops versus Cal press conference.
We've had some eventful Saturdays, but not like you're just in the room and all of a sudden it's like, oh, huge news, right? Like, and normally we might have a sort of like, all right, I'm hearing something about the roster. He's going to talk about it. And so you kind of get your stuff ready. And there was no indication one way or the other for Afari. They had really gone quiet when you would try to ask about Afari off the record. And then Antonio O'Berry came out of completely left field.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Afari thing, like you thought it could happen, but like there were just hoops to jump through. So like they were being mum, like I guess is the best way to put it. So
you got to let that red tape get cut.
So with Afari, like I think he's got a really good chance to play this year. And like for my feelings in the room, Nick, you know how it is. Press conference going on, you're trying to cover a press conference, but then you're also trying to write a breaking news post. It's quite the
it's fun.
It's quite the double dip at the same time. But and also now we're making our own graphics too, so like triple dipping. So that was the triple dipper. That was the KSR's version of the triple dipper.
MMR is what they'd call you in TV. MMJ, excuse me, multimedia journalist. MMR, that's
what they call
JMR. Yeah.
JMI.
A lot of acronyms flying around.
So Afari, I think like linebacker depth, Nick, to me was one of the bigger concerns on this roster.
That would answer a question.
So that I think that addresses it in a big way. So you feel good about linebacker. And then O'Berry, it did come out of left field, but I think it got kind of lost in the portal shuffle that he was a 21 graduate. He was always going to need a waiver to play.
Mm-hmm.
And just that waiver never came. Now, a lot of people have questions, and I wrote about this at KS Board, and KSR Plus, and we've got a roster update about the numbers, where they sit against the cap, all of that. Where O'Berry, like he needed a waiver where some Trinidad Chambliss and Owen Heineke, Oklahoma linebacker.
Yeah.
They both sued in January because their waiver got turned down early. What we don't know is when this waiver got turned down and then what steps they went through on Kentucky's end. They were really, now it makes more sense why they were so quiet about him.
Yeah.
Really throughout the spring and fall camp.
When we got quotes from the coaches, they weren't just bringing them up. We were like, hey, you all haven't talked about him. What's the deal? And they basically just said, he's fast, without saying a whole lot, because his status was more in limbo than any of us expected. I think the loss of O'Berry is not nearly as significant as the addition of Afari because of what you had in that room. At that position, Sam Green, CJ Works, Lorenzo Cowan, those are three good football players. And then not to mention Tyler Thomas was really drawing some rave reviews. How much is he playing at that spot versus, the Nyquist Humphrey-Grace position? Ahmad Bro is a guy who's missed some practice time that feels like he's been Humphrey-Grace's sort of
backup. Yeah.
Right. So where exactly they all shake out in the shuffle, I'm not entirely sure, but you had three players that are proven at that spot at a high level that have played pretty good, who are young, that you expect to take big leaps forward. So that's why it's not it felt like O'Berry was a sort of gravy on top of your mashed potatoes, right? Like, I still like mashed potatoes with salt and pepper just fine. Give me a little extra gravy, like, hell yeah, but I don't need it for it to be good. So I think it can still work out just fine for the edge room, so long as those young guys take the steps forward that we expect.
Yeah, I mean, Sam Green is scheduled to talk to the media tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. I'll be there.
Typically, the rule is do not talk if hurt or injured.
Yes.
So
he is. I've kind of gotten the impression that he's just on the layaway plan with everybody else, where it's like, you're good to go, but we don't want you to go because we're going to take it easy. They made it sound like he was like dressing at practice, but they just wouldn't let him do anything in the spring. So that's good, at least from a health status standpoint. He was playing really well there right before he got injured last year.
And good football.
Who was it that had the nice thing to say about CJ Works the other day? It was we got the Stu gave him Josh Allen.
Anwar Stewart gave him the Josh Allen comp, but then Jay Bateman had really good things to say about him. Thinks he's could be really, really good.
He looks
not both this year and the future.
He looks impressive, And And what that looks like, too, that I want you all to be aware, like, you remember Josh Allen from 2018. Do you remember him from 2016? Like, there was the process of becoming an elite pass rusher. A lot of it is like, okay, this guy filled in. All right, we're seeing him get back there, but maybe he's just pushing the pocket. He's not actually making the sacks, right? Like, oh man, he jumped that passing lane, but he couldn't pick it off. Like, I think in your mind, you should expect some like good, but it isn't necessarily the like we're making the game-changing plays on a regular basis. It's the like, oh man, he's so close. They didn't make a big play right here, but he didn't make the game-changing play like that. And that's the sort of, I think, the building blocks of that position where you kind of start to dig in, and then year 2 is where you really start to see the production from a raw statistical standpoint.
Yeah, and I don't sleep on Lorenzo Cowan.
He had a nice fumble recovery in the Louisville game. He's getting his nose in there in all the right spots. He was a highly touted guy. And people probably don't realize this. He is Tavian Gadsden's younger brother.
Yeah. I just think he's got a chance to be a pretty good player for them too. So they like some of the depth there, right? And they just got some more proven pieces. I don't know if that's maybe the right way to put it, but just
known quantity, maybe.
Yeah. I mean, where obviously like Nick Anderson and CJ Baxter have put good years on tape, but it's been a couple years since then, right? Where like obviously Cowan's ascending. Like I think he's an ascending player. Works as an ascending player. Mm-hmm. And then they've got some of these older guys, veterans that they have. So they've got some pieces on this defense. So I'm, interested to see what it looks like and what they can put together because they got some pieces, I think, on this defense where they could maybe be like sneak up on some people this year. I think defensive expectations are probably have lowered where most people are focused on the offense, rightfully so, where I wouldn't be surprised if they can sneak up on people. And we've talked about it. It's a big year for Jay Bateman. Like he's running it by himself again. The North Carolina 3-year stint, 19 to 21, I believe, did not go well. So this is a second chance for him. He's got his staff with him. Like he got to go out and hire his defensive staff. So it's a big moment in his career, getting this second opportunity. So, and he's got some pieces in place where they might be able to sneak up on some people because I think they got some players on that side of the football.
Good news is we got still quite a bit of time to talk about that defense. Get to look at the depth chart on each side of the line of scrimmage over the next 2 weeks. 5 days a week, we're going to be right here on the KSR YouTube channel. Tomorrow night, having special guests. Our friend Cousin Shane's going to hang out with us. I know he's a Tennessee fan, but he's actually really high on what Will Stein can do in year 1 at Kentucky. So we're going to hang out with Cousin Shane. And
maybe he can play safety for the Vols.
They need it. They need a lot of help. A lot of injuries at other camps. There's one big takeaway from the scrimmage on Saturday.
Yeah.
They're holding guys out, but you didn't have any season enders. Tennessee had one. South Carolina had a couple of receivers go down. So never want to see preseason injuries.
Alabama lost a running back. They're saying not for the year, but he's probably going to be out at least the first month of the season. Mm-hmm. Was a guy expected to be one of their top 3 backs. So, yeah, you just want to stay healthy at this point in the year, right?
Oh, yeah. Before we go, Luckett, you got to be at the Don't Call Me Fan Day, Meet the Team Day, where players signed autographs in the concourses at Kroger Field. A solid turnout. People seem to like it. Very good turnout. Fans were excited. Even the slash concession prices were available. So your boy got a pretzel for $2.99. I was
nice.
Like, this is a deal now. You get used to this. So good
any
turnout.
$5 Bud Lights?
I didn't see beer sales going on there, but I'm sure they're getting ready for that. No doubt about it.
Got to stock out to get ready for September 5th. That's going to do it for us today. We'll have plenty more tomorrow and the rest of the week. 5 days a week, 11 personnel on the KSR YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe here. Make sure you sign up for KSR Plus before the fall camp sale is over. And remember, if you're ever feeling lightheaded, listen to your pal Nick Roush. Don't try to walk it off or you might get some stitches above your eyeball. He's Adam Luckett. I'm Nick Roush. Go Cats and go Kroger.